What's the problem with our eyes?
95 to 97% are short-sighted. So this can be dangerous because
Dr Andrea Vega, founder of 5 Loops Sustainable Eyewear, ophthalmologist, eye doctor and surgeon.
everybody is buying blue light filter glasses, but actually the studies have not proven that this filter really helps. What is even more important than having the blue light filter is
Your backstory is really interesting, how you found this issue within the sight industry and then you've created these beautiful glasses.
my sister and me are seeing these beautiful beaches full of trash that really shocked me. I said, I need to do something. I have found a material that is really biodegradable. You can put it in the trash and then it decomposes by itself.
I doubt Ray-Ban are doing that. They're not going into the jungles.
We are going into the jungle.
What would you say the difference is when it comes to style Chinese audiences or Asian audiences are looking for compared to in the West?
In the West, they're more, here it's more.
What were some of those hard times and how did you manage to get through them?
First of all, I didn't realize that to get a company to be successful, you have to have a strategy. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and you cannot.
What's the one thing that people can do right now to improve their eyesight?
There are a couple of things they can do.
Quickly before the episode starts, we've noticed that 83% of you are not yet subscribed. If you find this podcast interesting and would like to support us, please subscribe and we'll make sure to deliver the best guests and best content possible. Thank you very much. Enjoy the episode.
Dr. Andrea, what's the problem with our eyes? Is it getting worse? Is our vision deteriorating because of screen usage or other factors?
Yes, you're right. The vision is deteriorating and the screens are not irrelevant. I think they play a role, but not the only role. Yeah. So the vision worldwide, or the children better, are getting more and more short-sighted. In the last decade, especially in Asia, statistically speaking, the people that are in university, 95 to 97% are short-sighted. So this is an increase in the last decade, which can be dangerous because long-term, more eye illnesses are gained when you are short-sighted. So it is a problem. The screen, telephone, iPad use, actually everything that has LED light, which also could be the TV, play a role. No? You also have heard about the blue light filter or the blue light that is harmful for the eye. So in the last decade, everything that is related to eyes have created more interest in the public. And I would like to a little bit deeper into the problem with the blue light, because I think here in Asia, it is more important because everybody is buying this blue light filter glasses, but actually the studies have not proven that this filter really helps. The fear of people is to have a macular degeneration and cataract. Cataract is something that everybody gets sooner or later, but to get it early obviously represents a problem. Macular degeneration, unfortunately, is a cause of blindness because the macula is the center of the retina and you need it to be able to read. So I just checked again the studies that have been done, and what is even more important than having the blue light filter is that you eat your greens. I always tell my patients, especially the small ones, to have a rainbow plate. You need to have all the colors of the rainbow on your plate, especially the greens. Green is not venomous, it's to be eaten, because in the green vegetables, you have a lot of lutein and zeaxanthin that are antioxidants that are essential, especially in the center of the retina in the macula. On the other hand, the myopia has been increasing in Asia, especially because I think the educational system and the children or the young adults have to read, write a lot, and obviously also do the research. And where do they do the research? On the computer, on the telephone, on the desktop. And unfortunately, also during their free time, they use the devices a lot. It would be great if the children could be outside, ride their bike, play with a ball like we did when we were small. Well, I grew up at the beach, so I could go into the ocean. That was obviously ideal, but here it's really important to let the children be children and play.
It's a really interesting point on childhood because when I was a kid, I was told by my parents, when you're watching TV or at a computer, you've got to be back, right? And
Yes.
now it's crazy. You've got the Apple
Yes.
Vision Pro, Apple Vision Pro, and our eyes are right there. So isn't that crazy?
And especially it's very, very straining for the eyes. Looking close up is much, much more work for the eye than looking far. To look far is actually quite relaxed for the eye. So the more time you spend doing close-up work, whatever that is, it's also playing piano, playing the violin, doing Cuomo and English and math and blah, 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 blah. The close-up work has proven, this is proven in studies, it promotes myopia to get worse or to start in the first place. And to be outside exposed to sunlight, which is the best light you can have, has proven to prevent myopia or prevent it to get worse. So the way to go is let your children play. So be kids. They have enough time to learn later.
I think it's a huge issue in China right now, but also in the West is you have a toddler or a baby that's crying. And
Yeah.
what's the first thing they do? Phone.
Yeah.
It's like, there's the drug. Shut up.
Sorry, I can feel it. I can feel it sometimes. But you're right. The problem is also the bonding then. The whole point of the children to cry is they're uncomfortable. They want something, and then you have to decide you give it or you don't give it to the child. A phone is a pacifier. So it's just a Band-Aid on top of the wound. At the end, the child, whenever you go home, will start crying again. So it's better to get to know your child immediately, then you know what it needs. Yes, it needs a lot of attention. It's a 24/7 job, children. But if you invest a little bit now, they will thank you later. Well, I hope. Most of them do.
It's a little bit scary for me because I do see the kids with the watches as well. They've got the watch phone and they've got their phone. Yeah. And just that usage must be really taxing, not just on their brains, but on their eyes. They must be constantly looking. But I think you're right. There needs to be more emphasis on relationship, right? When we were kids and we cried, your parents would sit you down and say, look, that's not cool.
Yes.
The naughty step or whatever it was in order to stop. So it's I guess it's at the same time, it's a bit of a double-edged sword because it's good for your business, isn't it? Because then surely these kids are coming in and buying glasses, right? So, but let's go into that story actually, which is your backstory is really interesting, like how you found this issue within the sight industry, and then you've created these beautiful glasses. So how did it start and how has this evolved?
So, well, I have a twin sister, and I'm half German and half Peruvian. And we were born in Germany, but we grew up in Peru at the beach, actually. The whole summer, I was only at the beach. And for me, the beach and clean beaches actually is absolutely natural. So then eventually I moved to China, and we traveled a lot within Asia. And then suddenly my sister and me are seeing these beautiful beaches full of trash that really shocked me. I said, I need to do something about it. And well, since I'm an ophthalmologist, I thought, let's do something within my field of expertise. Let's not start from 0. And then we created together my glasses brand that is called 5 Loops. And 5 Loops is a sustainable and ethical eyeglasses brand that doesn't compromise in style, but we have incorporated the circular economy concept, and we're trying to help communities that need help.
And in particular, the materials, how did you come about choosing this? Because you've got quite an interesting story, haven't you? That there was a number of materials being discussed, but
yes,
went for this
so
one.
we have decided to use BioAcetate. So acetate is a plastic, but it's a plastic that is made out of cellulose. Normally, it's wood pulp or cotton. And this is then mixed with some kind of vinegar to make this plastic. But this bioacetate has a much higher content of cellulose than a normal acetate. And it uses plasticizers that are not harmful. So other ones use acetate with a plasticizer that can be harmful for the body, especially because you use it in your face. No, the skin in your face can absorb also things that are in the frame. So I found it, actually it took me several months to find the correct material. But I also have found now, just now, like a couple of months ago, a material that is really biodegradable. You can put it in the trash, and then a certain temperature and a certain combination of microbiome has to be there, and then it really decomposes by itself. But this is really just in baby steps, but it is starting, and unfortunately, we have to follow the industry. We cannot start with a totally different material because it obviously needs to be tested that it also will last. Not that you have it in your face and then it falls apart. But the BioAcetate is really now state-of-the-art material that is sustainable, biodegradable, definitely not toxic. So we have chosen that for now, but I'm always looking for new things.
And what was the process to find that material? What was that hustle of? Was it testing? Was it going to different factories? How did you actually come across this material?
I found it during COVID. So my daughter was here with her computer. I was next to her checking that she's still online. And I was doing my research, like hours and hours and hours. And eventually I found this page where there was a telephone number. I said, okay, I'll just call. Then I just called. It was a company in Hong Kong. And then they answered, and obviously in Cantonese. I said, sorry, I just speak English. And then they gave me another telephone number. I called, and this gentleman was like, who are you? Which is your company? I said, well, I have a company to be. So that's the name. He said, no, it's still in the process to be built. And then he was like, okay, I'll get back to you later, because he was in a rush. I said, okay, I will never, ever hear from him again. But funny enough, 2 weeks later, he really called me. And then we had this amazing exchange, what is done, what is not done, what is possible, what is not possible. And then everything started to roll, because then he recommended me a factory. I went to the factory. They recommended a designer in Europe. So we did the design and everything in Europe. And really, then suddenly it was like a how do you say this, snow avalanche?
Yeah, like a snowball effect.
Exactly, right? Snowball effect. And it was an amazing ride with ups and downs. But we're still here to stay, and super proud of 5 loops. I really think the name represents us, my sister and me. So we're identical twins. Normally people, when they see us, they get confused. But we have developed the name because we have 5 core values. And we have named them. One is Earth, that is represents us using natural materials. Ocean, that we want to create as less waste as possible. Air, because we're implementing the circular economy. Then Flora, because we need to cooperate with other companies that have the same values as we do. And Fauna, because we want to help those in need. So actually what we want is for the customer to buy our glasses, use it as long as they want it. And when they want to buy a new one, we would like them to return it. They obviously will get an incentive, a discount for the next pair of glasses they buy. And we will refurbish the glasses that you return and give it to underprivileged communities in Peru, where we are from. And we have already found a couple of these communities, especially the ladies that work in the mountains of Peru, and they are knitters. They knit alpaca, because alpaca is also from Peru and is a very sustainable fabric because it's super warm, because the alpaca thread is hollow, has air inside. So it's super warm and you don't need a lot to keep you warm. And they make money by knitting pullovers for their family. So they're independent, but they're getting older. So they start to have problems with vision. So we want to refurbish the glasses and make reading glasses for them so they can continue to knit for their families. And also a group of children that live in the jungle in Peru that have no parents. And we have provided them with with glasses so they can continue their studies and then they can finish their school and have a better life.
I doubt Ray-Ban are doing that, right? They're not going into the jungles and saying...
We are going into the jungle, exactly. Yes, yes, totally.
But what I really love about this is it's a truly sustainable product, and also you've built your heritage into this as well. I think that's really interesting.
So there is my blood, well, not literally, but it is really a project that is close to my heart. And but obviously I want style as well, right? That we don't make a compromise. So we have 3 different styles that are actually named with names of beaches in Peru. So this is Tortugas, that is more roundish style in 7 different colors. Then we have Punta Hermosa, that is the one I'm wearing, also in 7 colors. That is a little bit more like cat eye. And then we have Caballeros, that is more rectangular. So each one in 7 different colors. And we are about to bring out new collections, one more for Europe, and then also one that is more focused on the Asian market, because as you know, we are the big noses, and here they have very tiny, smaller noses. So the bridge has to be also a little bit different. So we're going to bring that out in the next couple of months.
So apart from the bridge, which you just touched on, what would you say the difference is when it comes to style and generally what, say, Chinese audiences or Asian audiences are looking for compared to in the West?
In the West, they're more color, more daring, I think. They wear more color. Here it's more black and brown, and they are very, very brand
focus,
aware.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so especially with sunglasses. So that's why we have decided here in Asia not to bring out sunglasses, more frames for prescription glasses. But in Europe, we have sunglasses, we have blue light filter, we have over-the-counter readers. So it is a little bit broader. But once we have established ourselves, of course, the goal would be to bring out sunglasses here as well. But step by step, I don't want to... too much at the same time at the end of the day doesn't help. So we're focusing on different strategies, because definitely Asia and Europe is not the same.
I think it's a fantastic story, and you mentioned also about the downs. I don't want to focus too much on the negatives, but I think sometimes discussing the hard times and the downs is quite interesting. So what were some of those hard times, and how did you manage to get through them?
First of all, I didn't realize that glasses are a medical device. In Europe, here not, but in Europe it is. There are different classes, but glasses are medical device class 1, which is the lowest one, yeah? But now in Europe, they've introduced a new medical device regulation. And this is really complicated. It's a book like this thick, where you have to write everything down, what happens, what are the hazards of people using the glasses. They can poke themselves, they can this, they can that. Can it burn, can it not burn? What do they do if they complain? It took us 8 months to do it. And finally it's ready, but I didn't think that it is so complicated, to be honest. We do it. I just do it like in a couple of weekends. Okay, no. So it was a lot of effort, but now that it's done, I'm super happy, because it also, I learned a lot by doing it. Also, how to address that you have to be very methodical, right? To get a company to be successful. Not that we're successful yet, it's coming, but you have to have a strategy, and it's point 1, 2, 3, 4, and you cannot jump from 1 to 3. There's still step 2, and you have to do it. And with the factories, exactly the same, because the factories here, so I really go and check. We have a third party company that comes and checks the glasses with me. So us two have to give our green light before they are released onto the market. If there's no green light from the other or from me, they are not released. So it's definitely 100% checked. But then we realized, they didn't do this. So we clarified it, but they still did it differently. For me, it was like straightforward. No, will you do this, and so on. But there's so many options, and these factories, don't forget, they do have so many different customers. Eventually, I think the information gets a little bit lost or juggled up, and then suddenly, what's this? So this is not what I said. But then this is probably something that everybody is struggling with. It's simply you need to check it, and if you don't, something will go wrong.
But the compliance is really key because you're playing with people's eyes, right? I think that's a really important
Definitely.
thing.
That's why
really
I am not taking any chance.
Yeah.
If I don't go and I don't check it, this third party that has nothing to gain if they pass or don't pass, they have to give the green light as well, and only then we sell it to the public. Definitely. Also, this is absolutely, I don't make a compromise. Zero compromise there.
Some companies they'll kind of cut corners in order to just push the product out, and I think it's quite key. So it's really great what you're doing. I wanted to ask about those 4 steps, right? What would you say are those 4 pillars that really you need, that you found has worked really well with your business in order to grow the business? Being
strict with yourself as well, and also with the product, and staying on the ball. We started this. The whole idea was 2022. Now we're 2024. So you need this patience also to grow it organically. If you grow too fast, at the end of the day, it will collapse. It's like a house of cards, right? So this has to be, you need the long breath. This is one thing. Don't make compromises on material, and you have to stay true to yourself, for sure. No? Be passionate, and have fun. I have so much fun. So doing my research, and then I look, and then it comes up, and then you go into this rabbit hole, and then it's like, okay, what was it? What was the beginning? And then rewind, and then go back. I love this part of the research, but also then seeing the result, and then seeing, maybe I was wrong. So this part of me really woke up when I started with this project. With ophthalmology, of course, you do research and everything, but it's papers that are already done. So you read it, you take your conclusion, and then you say, okay, I'm going to implement this because this is feasible, or I will not because this is simply too high end, and the patient has to go to another type of hospital or clinic. But here is really, what do you put together? You have different results of different studies or different information, and then you have to puzzle it together to see what's best for you or for your project. So this is really, really nice. And I always get inspired by different people, just having a talk with people maybe that do totally different things, but then click, then I have an idea. And then it starts, and then I want to change this and this. So I really love this process as well.
So how are you selling this right now? Are you selling this with if you're sitting down with a patient, are you saying, hey, you need my glasses? Or what's the actual approach?
No. That would be...
Would be a bit of a...
It's biased. I cannot, no.
Contradiction, right?
I would not. But we have a WeChat shop. So the customer can go into the WeChat shop. I have a doctor's channel that eventually I want to merge. But for now, it's really just a doctor's channel where I explain different illnesses and tell the audience what they can do or what they should not do. Then we have an official WeChat page for 5 loops. Then I have a Red account. Then my sister that is in charge of sales and marketing in Europe, she has a LinkedIn. We have obviously a web page. And now we have also a YouTube and something else. I forgot.
So you're actually a KOL. You're actually an influencer, really, aren't you? Because you're actually...
You are. KOL sounds like really intense. You know what? I don't know. My mom was a teacher, so maybe she just give me a little thing of that. I love that people get to know certain illnesses or know about certain things that maybe I have a little bit more knowledge of. And I try to to communicate it in a way that everybody can understand. Because I can use all these medical terms, but for the patient, it doesn't help, because for them it's like, what are you talking about? So I try to be very simple, but bring it across in a way that the patient can follow and can relate to it, so that everybody wins out of this information. So I wouldn't say I'm a KOL, but I like people to know what the problem is and what they can do to improve it. Also to improve the quality of life, obviously.
Actually, I think they're the best KOLs and influencers, the ones that you're just trying to help people. And also, you've also got the science to back you up as well. Because obviously, I'm somewhat of an influencer myself, but I don't have that doctor. I don't have that real science to back up always what I'm saying. So I think it's really great that you've actually got, and you live and breathe the industry, right? You are a doctor yourself. So I think it's really something that will resonate with audiences. And then you're giving 99% free content, and then you sell off the back of it. I think it's a really, really clever model.
Like I said, it's simply, well, when you are 25 years in one thing, eventually you want to do something else. I still love it. I would never give it up. But you have the feeling, I feel young. I'm not as young anymore, but I feel young. I said, there's still so much to give. It would be a pity. In my opinion, I still have so much energy. So why should I waste it? I said, let's do something. Let's have a project. This project.
Well, this is it. I think being an entrepreneur and utilizing your experience and skills is great. Before we wrap up, I've got one last question, which is, what can people do? What's the one thing that people can do right now? They're watching this podcast, really to improve their eyesight.
There are a couple of things they can do. First, when you do close-up work, it doesn't matter what it is. If it's a device, if it's reading, if it's writing, make regular breaks. There are different studies that say 20, 20, 20, but what I say, I think that is implementable, is every hour a 5 to 10 minutes break, and then when you're at home, look out the window and try to focus something that is as far as possible, and try to see what is the dog doing, or is there an animal on a tree that is far away. That, I think, it's really great because it gives your eyes a rest. Check your eyes on a regular basis, because even though you might not have a real problem, if you spend a lot of time on computers or doing close-up work, even though your prescription is extremely low, it can influence your performance. It can cause headache. It can cause issues, because then you change your position on the computer, and then you start with back pain and tilting your head, and this has a whole set of other problems. So check your eyes on a regular basis and eat your greens. There's nothing, because also now when the youth eats a lot of greens, this is something that later when you're in the 40s and 50s, it's not a problem. Nobody has to force you to eat greens anymore, because you already are used to it. But if now you only eat burger and pizza and fries, then when you're 40 and you have a problem, to change that is really difficult. So habits is super important, and it's important to start early. Then usually you don't have such a big problem later.
So make it almost daily routine, like brushing your teeth, or
Exactly.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I've learned so much. And if people want to get in touch with you, where can they get in touch with you?
They can obviously see my doctor's channel. I will share the QR code. You can go into my shop in WeChat. You can also join me in Red. We'll be happy to see you. Take care, and five loops, don't forget it. Bye.
Thank you so much. Please be sure to like, subscribe, drop a comment below, share your thoughts, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.